The National Ice Rink in Cardiff, a great boxing arena these days. The Welsh fans really enjoy the fight game. We've had a terrific night already. There are highlights coming up later on. But now we await the entry of Naseem Ahmed. First defence of his international super bantamweight title, the belt he won in superb style last month. There might just be a mixed reception from him here because Steve Robinson's a local hero and Naseem Ahmed has made no secret of the fact that he wants to fight Robinson and he feels he can beat him. Now if you look at this and say, that reminds me of Mr. Chris Eubank, Naseem's answer is that Eubank copied this particular act and copied a lot of his moves in the ring as well. Eubank naturally disagrees. He's come a cropper bolting into the ring before. There's his dad, a very proud dad indeed. Gymnastic routine from Prince Naseem Ahmed. Here's your MC for the night. It's Mike Goodall.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is being sanctioned and conducted under the rules of the World Boxing Council, whose supervisor at ringside is Mr. Simon Block of London. The British Boxing Board of Control steward is Lord Brooks of Tremorfa, and the officials appointed for this contest by the WBC are the judges at ringside, Daniel van der Wiel of Belgium, Mr. John Coyle of Wolverhampton. The referee in charge of the action, who also scores the contest, is Mr. Mickey Van from Leeds. The timekeeper,
so just to throw
Mr.
to the
Gordon
commentator.
Pape of Swansea, and the matchmaker, Mr. Ernie Fossey of London. My lords, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday night is Big Fight Night, live on ITV. And tonight from the National Ice Rink Cardiff, Frank Warren and the Sports Network present the Grand Slam of 4 championship contests for 5 titles. Sponsored by Empress Car Sales, and proudly present a contest of 12 3-minute rounds for the WBC International Super Bantamweight Championship. Between introducing the boxers, fighting from the red corner, coming from the Dominican Republic, a professional record from 18 contests of 17 wins, with just 1 draw, 7 wins coming by way of KO. He's the former undefeated IBF Intercontinental Bantamweight champion, the challenger for the title, Laureano Ramirez. And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, in the blue corner, wearing the leopard trunks, coming from Sheffield and the Yemen. He is undefeated in 14 contests, 12 contests coming by way of KO. He comes to the ring this evening, the undefeated bantamweight champion of Europe and the international super bantamweight champion, making his first defense of the title. Ladies and gentlemen, Prince Naseem Ahmed. At the official weigh-in, Ramirez was scaled 8 stone 7 3/4 pounds. Ahmed 8 stone 10 pounds. The WBC International Super Bantamweight Championship.
So the pre-fight formalities are over. Let's join your big fight commentary team. It's Jim Watts, and he's alongside the maestro. Good evening to Reg Guttridge.
Well, there it is. The referee, Mickey Van, he won't stand for any nonsense here, but he was quite controlled by his standards, actually, that Naseem had. Compared with you, Bank, he's little Lord Fauntleroy, I think. But certainly got an unusual gum shield there. White in the middle, and I think it's black and red. Difficult to tell. Looks a bit like Bugs Bunny when he does as smile as he can down the aisle there. Now, it's all putting the puzzle together, this jigsaw with this boy, whether he really is the real thing. He's certainly beginning to look like it. So let's see how Ramirez, who can't be that bad if he's unbeaten, can give us any answers. Well, that was the point. In the gymnasium here, we checked on Ramirez. He sparred orthodox, but it was said he was a southpaw. Hamid actually asked me that, and I said I wasn't sure, but I think he is. And he said, good, because I like fighting southpaws. I think he likes fighting anybody. The man is good, and he loves the acclaim. And as Barry McGuigan was saying, his last show with another fighter from the Dominican Republic, Freddie Cruz, was absolutely brilliant. I don't know whether this fellow will provide answers, because he's never really been in with major names, although he held an IBF version of what's called a sort of intercontinental title. That's the one below the major title. So although he sparred orthodox in the gymnasium, apparently he is a natural southpaw, this fellow.
See, I think we need to see Hamed against a fighter who's on the up, whose career is rising, who really fancies the game. His last two victories have been tremendous, and the manner of them has been really breathtaking, but you have to see him against someone who really still fancies the game. It was two men who had been well past their best, so it'd be nice to see Hamed against somebody. Maybe Ramirez can answer a few questions here. He looks lively enough, and he's making the Hamed miss, so he's certainly sharp enough.
Certainly Ramirez' hairstyle looks handy for him, Jim, almost like a head guard, the thickness of that hair. Oh well, just one of them from one of the older school. But he got down to business so well in Sheffield, didn't he, Hamed, and hoping he's going to keep that. And you know, all the tricks he does, it's very attractive, and he can pull it off, and it's marvellous the way he gets away from punches all the time. A real Houdini job.
Yeah, he has tremendous reflexes. I mean, he does things that you wouldn't want boys in the gymnasium to do, but he's so good at doing them, he gets away with it. Tremendous reflexes. But he's missing, and he's not bullying Ramirez. He's not managed to bully this man in the first minute or so, so maybe a couple of questions that will be answered.
Well, there's one thing for sure, the world crowd are not particularly on his side. They cheered the Dominican Republic guy there, who incidentally lives in Barcelona actually now. First visit to Britain. When he stands his ground there, Jim Hamed, you know, he's really such a competent boxer. He doesn't need all the frippery to go with it.
Yeah, but I suppose if you want to become a big name like in the entertainment world, you need a little bit extra, and I think he's got that.
Just a short, sharp word there from the referee, Mickey Van, back to your corner. So he's been with Brendan Ingle now, Hamed, since he was 7 years old. He loves the game. He's always in gymnasiums, trains very hard indeed, goes and watches his pals. He's just in love with boxing and success at the age of 20. There he is. Make me look pretty for the cameras. I bet he's saying that. Remember, he's not been beyond the 6 rounds. 11 fights inside 4 rounds, this fellow. Super bantamweights, 8 stone 10 pounds, 122 pounds. That's between bantam and featherweight. It's almost like a diptych pencil he was using there. It's a bit unusual. So second round then. try and do his usual catch-can job here, Hamed, Jim.
Yeah, he's just trying to draw a lead at the moment. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
But in his last 2 fights against quality opposition, he's managed to bully the opposition right from the first bell. In the European fight, he floored the opponent straight away as the first bell rang. Well, he hasn't done that here. A fairly quiet start by his own standards, but he's not been hit. He's just a little bit untidy.
It's amazing, he has no occupational fear at all, is he?
He's not getting his own punches home yet.
I don't think this fella cares anything about the showbiz side. He wants to get on with it.
Well, his movements are sharp enough. The couple of times Hamed has tried to draw him into a mistake, he's managed to pull his head out of range. So at least his movements are sharp enough, so Hamed is going to have to go looking for this fellow. Step up a little bit closer.
Oh, he meant that one, didn't he? Just a little touch of the needle there, Hamed. So, no, if that's the way you want it. Oh, good shots, Jim, aren't they?
Now, once he goes to work, you always get the feeling he can do it when he decides it's time. But a couple of points in this fight, he's looked a little bit untidy.
Jim, that was the sort of shot that he caught Freddie Cruz with that turned the whole fight, that lead uppercut.
Yeah, but Ramirez is still moving nice and sharply.
Yeah.
He's not managing to land any counters, but he's making Hamed miss. So at least he's going to draw out a kind of decent performance from him. Hamed's stepping a little bit closer now, trying to get that jab on target.
It's almost in slow motion, that, isn't it? Look.
He's just trying to draw the lead.
See, the crowd will go, I knew they'd do that. Into the third round. Very little at the start of the opening round, hardly a clean punch landed, but there was just a spell there from Hamed. He tries to knock people out with every punch he throws. So that's why he's sort of taken his time. We've seen him do this in longer distance fights before. This old lad Ramirez at 28, he boxed in the Los Angeles Olympics, I think you remember that. He got to the quarterfinals. He didn't turn pro till he was 23.
The thing is, Ramirez hasn't shown an awful lot of ambition himself in the first couple of rounds. I think he realises this early just how difficult it is to catch Hamed. But if he wants some success, he's going to have to step in himself and try to get these punches off. He's a little bit apprehensive with his own punches, Ramirez.
Well,
he's just poking that right hand out. You couldn't call that a jab.
He knew what happened to his countryman, Freddie Cruz.
That was better.
Oh, that was better.
That was better.
You see, now he took a decent shot. Oh, that was naughty. A definite push there. The crowd don't like that.
The referee has got to do something with that. I mean, that was both elbows in his face almost. That was outrageous. Mickey Van has to have a word with him about this.
Yeah, I said from the start, he won't stand for it. He handled the Bruno and Lewis fight. He's handled many top world championships. So he said to him, okay, he's given him as long enough rest as he wants. Oh, now we're going to get a little bit of spite entering into it now.
Yeah, I think he lost his temper a bit there. I think he's annoyed himself. He knows by his own standards that this is not his best form.
So far, he's been able to back up his boast, and I'm sure he probably will do here. But I'd like to see it just a bit cleaner. He's moving to quality stuff.
was the best punch he's landed so far. That was a good little solid. Another one, same punch.
Oh, he's turned away. He doesn't want it, this guy, does he? What's happened there?
I don't know if I took it. I get the impression there is it's possible a tooth has been loosened with that punch.
Really? Oh, well, that wasn't it. His jaw was loosened with that. He just flopped over there like wet laundry falling on the floor, but there was something wrong with his tooth there. No, he doesn't want it. I thought he didn't.
Yeah, I get the impression that tooth has
He's quit in the third round. Well, he didn't expect that, or we didn't expect that. I suppose Hamid says, yes, I did expect that. But Jimmy, you were quite right. It looked as though he had a problem with the tooth there as he turned away. It must hit with some strength, this guy, you know. I mean, he's a rough old customer, Ramirez. He's been around a bit and unbeaten. Admittedly, as I said at the start, not with major names, but a good old pro. There, our dad gives him a Chris as well.
Yeah, well, probably not his smoothest performance, but when you don't box your best, it's nice if you can finish it with one shot, and that's exactly what he's done. The finishing shot was a beauty. The punch that set it up looked to me, the way he looked away and pointed to his mouth, it was as though maybe a tooth had been loosened with that shot. This is the one, bangs it. That was right in the mouth, and that's when he turned away, and it's quite possible there was some damage to maybe his tooth with that punch. I'm not sure, but that's what it looked like.
Yeah, the referee did well there, but turned him round and, you know, made sure that he wanted to carry on. He couldn't just stop it because he had his back to the opponent.
Yeah, well, I think after that punch, he didn't really want to go on. And the finishing punch was a beauty. Bang.
Oh, bingo. He had no option there, did he? The lights were out for it. Soon recovered, mind you. But this kid can punch him.
Oh, yeah, see, he has natural power. If you look at the strength he has in his legs and the way he sets himself, when you look at Hamid's legs, you see he can go up a couple of divisions, and once he fills out a bit.
He didn't know what town he was in there, I don't think, Ramirez. He loves all this, doesn't he, Hamid? I can't say I blame him, Jim. You know what that feeling is when you've had a good result like that. And
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 minutes, 49 seconds the referee has stopped the contest. The winner and undefeated international super featherweight champion, Prince Naseem Hamid.
well, he's become the new television star, if nothing else, John. There's still a little bit of mystery about him that we seem to enjoy, don't we?
Yeah, well, I suppose he keeps knocking out people who don't get knocked out, Reg, and you can't ask for any better than that.
No, absolutely. He's a strong guy and so different.
Let's just clear up that fight. I mean, that guy swallowed it, actually. It wasn't your fault, that, but he swallowed it. Yes.
I don't think he swallowed it because...
Well, when you hit him, first of all, he wanted to quit, and then before you knocked him down.
He never swallowed it. He took a very good right hook. But he did turn his back on me, but he came straight back into the fight, and I hit him with a real good shot. That's why he went down.
Let's see the punch that finished it.
You see the punch?
It was a good punch, this, actually, when you finished it.
Mental power, respect. Look at this. Watch this. Boom! That is look at that.
Look at that.
That is not swallow. That's a proper.
No, that's not.
Let me just mention that is a proper right hook.
Yeah, but what happened before that, Nas? What happened before that when he turned his back on the corner? I saw him and he shook his head.
He took some pain. What can I say? He took some pain and he turned his back because he knew he was going to get beat from then onwards, but he never swallowed it. He turned back round to fight. He was tricky. I've seen his movement on his feet. I've seen his movement with his head. He was unbeaten, never been stopped.
Number 4 in the world.
IBF champion.
Number 3 in the IBF.
Gary, all I've got to say is when I fight for the world title, I'm going to be so good.
But I tell you what,
I'm going to be world champ.
Yes, let me just stop you. Tonight, you didn't have one of your better nights up to that finish. I mean, you struggled a bit by your standards.
So everybody, I made a prediction before the fight, Gary.
No, I'm talking about your performance. Forget the
all right. No, let me just tell you first. I made a prediction before the fight that I was going to go 3 rounds. To you, to everybody, to the public, to the media, I said I'm going to go 3 rounds.
You're ducking my question.
I'm not ducking. I'm going to come back on it now, Gary. I'm going to come back on it, my brother. Now, I let the jab go, and I kept going with the jab, and I kept it nice and easy. Nice and easy. The 3rd round came, that was my round. Allah said to me, that was your round.
About the first 2 rounds. Let's talk about the first 2 rounds.
The first 2 rounds, I snapped my jab out. It was in his face. I caught him with some really good jabs. I was softening him up, ready for the 3rd round to take him out. 3rd round came, I took him out. Simple as that.
Actually, Naz, we know how good you are, but the first 2 rounds weren't your best tonight.
The first 2 rounds, as I say.
The 3rd round weren't bad, that's all that counts.
Oh, baby, my promoter, Frank Warren. Brendan Ingle, look,
Quick word from the promoter on the next fight.
Next fight will be in Glasgow on the 21st of January, when we'll be naming the opponent within the next couple of weeks. And I thought he'd done a great performance tonight. The guy is a southpaw, 18 fights, undefeated, number 4 in the world, and he got beaten by a 20-year-old.
The opponent was. Thank you very much.
It hurts being this good. It hurts. Oh, baby. Nick A. Men of power respect. If you hate on the full show, hey, you. Give me a video away.